So while we are here tonight to celebrate and commemorate a time in history from 3 years ago, we have a responsibility to also bring the conversation forward to ensure that health freedom and religious freedom remain intact in New Jersey. There are a few bad bills that have been drafted and introduced in the New Jersey legislature that would infringe upon our health freedom in the state. One is a bill that will allow for medical tracking of adults via a statewide database. Another is to mandate yearly flu shots for kindergartners through 12th grade in order to attend school. Another is mandatory COVID shots for all higher education students in New Jersey, staff, and personnel at those entities. We will always have opposing forces to freedom, and as such, we need to stay vigilant in our fight. While the Battle of Trenton 2020 is complete, the battle to maintain and preserve freedom and health freedom in the state of New Jersey is still very much ongoing. We want to show you a video now of Senator Vitale and what he had to say with regard to COVID shots and mandates for our children in the state of New Jersey.
Now, once our schools get the green light to open fully to in-person learning, which will most likely not be until next fall, one New Jersey senator is proposing mandatory vaccinations for all students.
Thank you for doing this for us.
Sure.
We appreciate you being with us and talking about this. This is a tough topic for some parents, many claiming religious exemptions, even just at baseline. And then we're introducing a potential COVID vaccination that would be required. What would you say to those parents as you push forward to make vaccinations required for students?
Well, the first thing we would do is just to make sure that whatever vaccine is selected or developed is appropriate for children. If from the very beginning, it's what I said, when and if, or if and when a vaccine is developed that's safe and effective for children, we should consider having that as part of those vaccines that are required for entry into school. And now we have, mumps, measles, rubella, polio, a variety of different vaccines that children are required to have. And those who can opt out, meaning parents who can opt their children out, can do so for medical purposes or for now religious exemptions. And we found that over the years, many families have decided that they don't want to vaccinate the children. It's really not about a religious exemption. It's more philosophical. It's more based on some science that they've read, concerns they may have. And I don't disregard those concerns. But the reason that these vaccines are required is because they're effective. The reason that we don't have polio any longer in this country, or smallpox, or all these other awful diseases, is because we've developed vaccines to defeat them. We can imagine now what it's like not to have a vaccine with
Right.
COVID, right? That's what life would be like if we didn't have vaccines for children, and who are really vectors for a virus. You bring them home. My children got to daycare, and parents who have kids in daycare know that they come home with cold, the pink eye, a variety of different illnesses, and that, kids have to build up immunity, and that makes sense. But that sort of illustrates that children can be vectors for a virus, not just for themselves and their classmates, but for adults and the elderly as well, which is the biggest concern, I think. If you read some of the Facebook posts or the websites that try to debunk vaccines as some great conspiracy, or they cause autism, which they don't do, or they're suspect, they're really not. There are reactions for some people. Mostly it's the site of the needle stick. There's maybe some inflammation, maybe a small fever, but 99.9% of the time it's safe and effective, and there's a purpose for that. So we don't take these issues lightly. We don't take the science lightly. We don't take the requirements lightly. We get it, and we get it as parents.
Right.
But we, at the end of the day, we want to be able to protect our children and adults as well, because they can be victims of an outbreak or a virus.
And just last question, what is the timeline for your proposal? What's the traction been like for you?
The timeline is when it is that science develops one for children, and they're still going through their trials now. And the vaccines that are available are mostly for adults 18 or sometimes 16 or 17 and older,
So you
not yet for children.
You would do this as soon as it's available, as soon as it's ready for children under the age of 16. You want to get everybody inoculated, essentially.
We would like to, yes. Yep.
And what's the support been like for you?
Well, there's support in the legislature for it. My colleagues who get this understand it. The scientists and the doctors who don't have a horse in the race, don't have a stake in this, don't have any monetary benefit. They get that this works. And look, it's not going to happen unless there is a safe and effective vaccine. And once there is, and that can be proven through trials, then we should go forward with that vaccine.
Senator Vitale, thank you so much for chatting with us today. We really appreciate it and taking the time.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for asking.
So there you have it. That's Senator Joe Vitale basically stating that his goal is to have our children take the COVID vaccine in order to attend school here in New Jersey. Senator Vitale is also the chair of the Senate Health Committee. So going back to what we witnessed in the Senate Health Committee back in 2019, when our bill was passed, he was the sponsor of the bill at that time, and he was the chair of that committee. So he put our bill up, and he was a main driver for the religious exemption bill in 2019. He also was seen, people saw him, like I had mentioned earlier, going back and forth between Senator Sweeney and Senator Lagana during that voting session on the full Senate floor to try and sway Senator Lagana's vote to vote for this bill. So he is not a friend of ours. With that said, 2023 is another election year here in New Jersey, with all 120 seats up for election in the legislature. Who would like to see Joe Vitale unseated? I know I would. We won the Battle of Trenton in 2020 and then made it through a pandemic for nearly 3 years. Amidst this, New Jersey was able to achieve some incredible changes in seats through the 2021 legislative election and the 2022 congressional election, with more than a handful of newly elected officials who now stand for health freedom. NJPHIPAC will be vetting all candidates in the 2023 election and publishing a voter guide to assist voters in knowing who the strongest candidate is for health freedom. Please make sure you follow us on social media and also sign up on our website to stay in touch so that you receive our important email notifications. We will also be hosting webinars and information sessions throughout the year on important topics and strategic planning. We inform all of our supporters via email with regard to these sessions, and we offer complimentary attendance to our monthly contributors for some of these events. Please consider becoming a monthly contributor today. Our monthly contributions are what allow us to do the work we are doing. Every member of the PAC board is a volunteer, and all of our time and work is 100% donated. Your contributions allow us to put your dollars towards effective electioneering tactics that have been proven to influence key legislative races, like we saw in 2021 and in 2022. We cannot be successful alone. Your support is a huge part of our success and ensuring the longevity of health freedom in our beloved state of New Jersey. So for the next 24 hours, as Marin mentioned, we are welcoming any new monthly contributors who sign up for a $25 or more monthly contribution. You will receive a complimentary t-shirt from us. Thank you for your consideration, and we hope to see lots of necklaces and t-shirts and sweatshirts out and about in New Jersey. These are subtle identifiers, and you never know who you might bump into. I'm going to hand it off to Felicia, and she's going to close us out.
Thank you, Katie. Well, that concludes our event this evening. We want to thank our very special guests, of course, Dell Bigtree, Senator Mike Testa, and Jamel Holley. These gentlemen continue to work and each in their own way to do the work that really matters to us, and we really appreciate them. And thank you to every single one of you who has tuned in tonight, or maybe you're seeing this on replay. Your time and your attention, and most importantly, your trust and your support mean so much to all of us. Please continue to do everything you can do to bring about the change that are so necessary, and please continue to help us do what we do. Be on the lookout for more information regarding events in the near future by following us on all of our social media. And we hope you all have a very good night, New Jersey. Please stay tuned for our commercial and a really fun bleeper at the end.
Hey freedom fighters, it's Michael and Katie. Sorry we're not going to be able to be on the call tonight, but we just wanted to say we're thinking of you. I just went through an envelope that I look through every time this time of year. It's got everything in it, the parking pass from January 13th, from all the December visits, all the visitor badges, all the things we handed out at the testimony. This is a flag from someone gave me at the end of the 12 hours in December. This is one of the bullhorns. I know you remember that sound. This is the last day. What we talked about with the public schools. Thank you, Senator Testa, and all the people involved. We're with you. This is like a big family. We can't tell you how upset we are. We couldn't be on this little reunion call with the pure motivator Dell and the savior Senator Testa and all the NJPHIPAC family. We love you. Happy 3rd anniversary. And Goliath is dizzy. Dell said it the other day on the high wire. Goliath is dizzy. I love that quote. Keep up the prayers. Oh, one last thing. Keep praying. All right, we love you guys.